welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be wrapping up all of the books that I read in September and talking a little bit about my October TBR. So let's get started. So as I've mentioned in the last couple wrap-ups, school has been absolutely killing me lately, and plus just the entire month of September I've been busy with other things and it's just been pretty crazy, okay? So I only ended up completing a total of 4 books and one of those was actually a school book, so not my best reading month, but you know what, it's okay. I still ended up reading some pretty good books. As far as October goes, I should be less busy in October because I have fall break and I have just much more time because lots of the things that were happening at the beginning of the school year are going to cool down just a little bit. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to read much more in October, and that's why my October TBR is slightly ambitious. So let's just get into all of the books that I completed in September. The first book that I completed was Roar by Korra Carmack. This book completely and totally caught me off guard. I don't know what I thought this book was about, but it ended up being so much cooler than I expected it to be. Basically, this book centers around a girl named Aurora. She is the heir to this Stormling kingdom, and basically that means that the people who rule this kingdom can control and defeat storms. And basically, all that is fine and dandy until it is revealed that Aurora actually does not have any powers to control these storms. Then her mother tries to set her up with this political marriage kind of thing, and Aurora really doesn't like this, and it sort of goes from there, but it ended up being so much cooler than I expected. I will say that it is very obvious that this was written by a romance author, but I still ended up really enjoying it. The storm aspect, I've never read a story about someone being able to control storms, which I thought was just so freaking cool, and maybe it was just because I've never read something like that before. There were some pretty like trashy moments in it, like there was some like cheesy romance moments in it, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the character development was great. I loved a lot of the characters, and I really thought that it was a really well written story. I mean, I feel like some people say that it's cliche, but I personally feel like it was really unique, and I don't know whether that's just my own opinion or not, but yeah, so I really thought that it was unique and it stood on its own, and I cannot wait for the next book in this series, because let me tell you, the ending of this book is quite cruel, and I need the next book right now. And it just, this book went places that I did not expect it to go at all. Like from the first couple chapters, you're kind of thinking, okay, I know where this is gonna go, but then it goes so many different places that I was not expecting, and that's the main reason why I loved it so much. Next up is a book that literally took me about like 3 weeks to finish, which is insanely unusual for me, and that is Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foodie. I think I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars, mostly because I didn't really have a ton of motivation to read it. It was extremely interesting. It basically follows a girl named Serena, and she can make these illusions that appear extremely lifelike, and so she sort of runs this illusion show in this traveling city slash circus kind of thing, and everything is great until her illusions start being killed, and she has no idea how this is happening because they're illusions, they're not real, but they continue to get killed. Sort of like a murder mystery kind of thing, but it also has a bunch of like magical circus-y feelings to it. It was certainly interesting and it's certainly different, but I felt like there was like a big plot twist towards the end, and I like could see it coming from like the first page, and so I feel like it was pretty predictable where it was going, and also I just wasn't really connected with any of the characters. Like if an illusion died, I really like wasn't emotionally attached to them, and also like the romance in this book is a little bit strange, and I don't really know how to think about it. It's certainly sort of on the darker side. It's not super dark, but it's sort of on the darker side, and so I really like the concept, and I did like some aspects of the murder mystery part, but mostly it was just kind of a meh book for me. The cover also gets points because this cover is like one of my favorite covers of the year. It is so freaking beautiful, like can we just. Next up is a book that I completed for school for one of my classes, and that is St. Augustine's Confessions. Didn't really give this a rating because I didn't know how to rate it, but it is definitely not my favorite thing in the world. I was pretty frustrated with it for most of the time, but yeah, this basically follows a guy who is going through a conversion to Christianity and his struggles and things like that. So I can appreciate that it exists, It just wasn't my favorite thing in the world. And the last book that I read this month in September was one of my most anticipated books of the entire year, and that was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It's set in this world that's close to our own, but there's this service called Deathcast that calls you on the day you're gonna die, so you have one last day to sort of go out and do whatever you want, and it follows these two boys who end up meeting up and they're both gonna die that day, and it's through their last day. Now, I still have such mixed feelings on this book, okay? I think originally after finishing it, I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but as I'm thinking about it, I feel like I might have to lower it to a 3.5, and it completely and totally kills me to lower the rating for it because I love Adam and I love the concept of this book and I was so excited for it, but there were just some things that I just really didn't like about it. The thing that just made me so frustrated about this book is that it felt so short. It felt cut off. I felt like lots of it was cut. And of course, like, I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like a bunch of the story ended up being cut, and it breaks my heart. Like, there were like little like smidgets of all these different characters that you see throughout the book, but they were so short, and I wanted more, and I feel like it just wasn't developed like I wanted it to, and it was right there on the line to where if it was just like 50 or 100 pages more, it would have been fantastic because we would have gotten that character development and we would have gotten all those in-depth emotions, and I don't know whether it was just me or what, but I just couldn't connect to these characters and I just couldn't connect to the story. It really just, oh, I wanted to love it so much, and I did really enjoy some aspects of it. Like, the ending completely and totally destroyed me. Like, I was a wreck, and that was the main reason why I initially gave it 4 stars, because the ending really did pull on my heartstrings. But as I started thinking about the story as a whole, I wish that there was more, and I wish, just because I can't say that I loved the characters because there just wasn't enough there, and so it was great, but I just wish that there was more because I would have loved it if there was just a little bit more character development and a little bit more explanation. I wanted to like it so much. So those are all the books that I ended up completing in the month of September. Now I'm going to get into my October TBR, and my battery's about to die, so let's go. First up is a book that I'm going to have to be reading for one of my book clubs, and I'm so excited for this book, and that is This Mortal Coil by Emily Sue Vada. And everyone that I've talked to recently that has read this book has loved it so freaking much. I guess it's set in this world where there's this technology where you can like rework your DNA to where you can look a certain way for people, and I guess it follows this girl who's a hacker, and she like can hack into people, and I guess there's this plague and she has to try to find out how to like go into people's DNA and change it and like try to make them immune to this disease or something like that. I am so interested in this book. It sounds so freaking cool. I can't wait. Next up is a classic that I'm going to have to be finishing by the middle of October because it's part of this huge project that I'm doing for school, and that is East of Eden by Steinbeck. I've mentioned wanting to read this in the summer, but that didn't happen. But I'm going to be actually using this book for my huge senior thesis project, and so I actually haven't started yet, which is really bad because I need to finish this book in like 2 weeks. But yeah, anyway, this should be an extremely good time. I've heard fantastic things about it and I'm so excited. Next up, I'm really hoping to get to Jane Unlimited by Kristen. I think this book came out right at the end of September. This book follows a girl named Jane, and I think it's like 5 different stories through 5 different genres or something like that. Whenever someone describes this book, I get hopelessly confused. But I'm pretty sure like there's a fantasy story, a contemporary story, a sci-fi story, and like 2 other stories that this girl goes through, but you don't really know what the real story is. But I guess by the end of the book you should know what the real story is or something weird like that. If that's completely wrong, please let me know. But it sounds really interesting. One of the leaders at one of my book clubs really loved this book, and she's trying to get me to read it, and I just haven't had time yet. So yeah, I am highly anticipating getting to this one hopefully this month. And then finally, I would just love to finally get to Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I think this is the longest I've waited to read a Sarah J. Maas book, just because I was going to reread The Assassin's Blade, because like all the characters that appear in this book, like I don't remember at all, and they're from The Assassin's Blade, but I'm still like conflicted on whether or not I should read The Assassin's Blade or not. But I definitely do want to get to this book because I've heard really good things from people who don't like kale, which I'm included in that because I hate kale. Those who don't like kale actually really ended up loving this book and says that kale was redeemed, and so I'm interested to see where this goes. And I just feel like I'm missing out on so many things by not having read this yet. So those are all the books that I'm going to be mentioning in my October TBR. Hopefully I'll be reading some more books including those, but those are just the ones that I know that I really want to get to. And I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please subscribe if you are new here, and give this video a like if you enjoyed, and comment down below what book that you are most anticipating reading in October. Also, if you're watching this the day that it's released, which is October 1st, you still have one more day to enter my 10,000 subscriber giveaway, which is going to be closing tonight. So if you're watching this on October 1st, I will link it up there in the cards. Definitely go enter my giveaway. So yeah, thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I will see you later in another video. Bye!